I don't know if I've seen much research on it, but my gut from experience, I say to you that when you move up in the organization and you're in senior leadership positions, personally I think EQ outweighs IQ. It becomes a bigger portion. Your IQ will never diminish. What you've got. That stays. But your EQ fills up. It expands. So if you were weighing the two together, my sense really is EQ will tilt the balance a little bit. EQ is often not assessed or developed by professional institutes of learning. I don't know exactly what your institutes are doing today for the young people who are taking the profession. I know I'm now teaching at IBA, and I see at IBA there is that sense of inculcating some of the EQ traits to the students who are there. But clearly, when I did my engineering, there was no such thing as anything linked with EQ. It was pure hydraulics, metallurgy, theory of machines, heat dynamics, or whatever. And I don't know how it's done here. So whatever had to come, you had to do it yourself later. Now EQ, from my senses, it comes partly in your gene package and partly through your childhood. You know, when you're growing up with your family, your friends, you learn, you interact, you take some hard lessons, and some just come that way. But EQ substantially needs to be developed in good measure in your practical life. I was flipping through the internet and I picked up these two lines and I really liked it, so I captured them for you. It says, IQ gets you through school and EQ gets you through life. I thought it was interesting. Okay, now, so since I've talked to you about EQ and IQ, and my focus, as you have clearly seen, is on EQ, because I'm saying IQ is taken for granted. It's there with the profession. Some important focus areas. EQ is vast. It covers many dimensions of our personality, how we behave, react, our emotions, and everything. But I picked a few that I think in a corporate sense, in a leadership sense, are important. Firstly, constructive engagement with people. How do you engage? And I've used the word constructive, there's some thought in that. Communication skills, and I saw it extensively also got mentioned in our keynote speaker's address. And the third one is staying enthusiastic. Enthusiasm, drives, energy, all of that in one package. So I'd like to just focus a little bit on each of these three. And I have to be mindful of my time as well. Constructive engagement. I think for constructive engagement, you know, we talk of teamwork. Teamwork is a big part of constructive engagement. Where we say, if you have 1 + 1, it's not 2, it's going to be 3 or more. That's the impact. And if we recognize that, we appreciate that, then we've got to consciously practice that teamwork concept to get more out of yourself and everybody else. Leaders depend on their troops. You go back and read history, read battles, the famous generals and famous leaders of this world, they depend on people. That's the name of the game. And so it is in the corporate world. It's all about, at the senior level, it's about people management, substantially about people management. So learning how to challenge, how to motivate, how to delegate, how to appraise, how to mentor. You know, it's easy to just read these out, but you have to learn these skills, and they are also taught. And I was fortunate, I worked for a company where I think I did a course in each one of these somewhere in my career. There was a focus. You know, teaching you simple things like, when it's time to take credit, take half the credit. When it's time to take the blame, take twice the blame when you're working with your team. Simple things like that, then they stick in the mind. And maybe you don't practice it all the time, but now and then it comes to you, and now and then you make that effort to kind of reach out, engage with your people, and do all of these things for them. Cultivating relationships, it's a relationship game. Everybody, right when we are children, the relationships are being cultivated with brothers, sisters, friends, families. You're always engaging in some form of. So here too in an organization, you have to be mindful of them. Up, down, sideways, any direction relationship. Now people talk of the 360-degree appraisal and those sorts of things. They're all being talked about simply to highlight this point and bring this thing up of the significance of being able to engage your peers, your subordinates as much, and boss is not the only determinant of your future and your fate. And engaging, first of all, and engaging with your customers. And the point I'm really wanting to make here is we need to be, you need to be, everybody needs to be clear at every stage in his life who are his customers. And these are internal or external, it doesn't matter. But everybody's got a customer. And you've got to know who that customer is. Because the concept is if you know who your customer is, then you are only there to serve the customer. Remember, the customer is the most important stakeholder and comes above everything else. So you've got to adapt yourself, mold yourself to reach out to that customer and serve that customer. Communication skills. I start my story on communications by saying the first thing, people say, should be a good talker, a great presenter. I said, yeah, okay, that's all great communication. The first and most essential part is being a good listener, which some people find very hard to do. Assessing the needs of your interface. What is it that they want? And have an open viewpoint for a differing view. People will have differences. We've all grown, we are a product of the experiences we've come through. We'll have our views, we'll have differing views. So let that be. You can have a discussion, have space, have room to take it, deal with it, and then take things forward. Eliciting cooperation, the art of persuasion, comes a bit naturally. It also comes from learning and hard work. And you can actually do programs to help you. Negotiation, the program on negotiating skills. What does it teach you? You know, how to get to the other person. Work on being articulate, tailoring information to the time. We all have a certain, I have a little bit of time here with you. I'll lose your attention in a little while, I'm sure. But so I need to be sure how I'm going to capture your attention in that time. In the boardroom, when you go in as a CFO to make a presentation, you are going to get that time when there is a attention span is up. After that, it all goes. You can make your speeches, it won't register. So you've got to be mindful of that. And of course, public speaking, because public speaking is simply a multiplier. So it gives you, if you have that ability to reach out in your organization and so on, you can multiply your reach, your ideas. It gives you a multiplier on that. Staying enthusiastic, enjoying your work, I think is how I'd like to say it. Keeping a positive mindset. You know, we all have setbacks in life. That's part and parcel of life. So when you have a setback, what is your ability to deal with it? I think that's very important. Some people lose their nerve, lose their cool. And again, this is a strong EQ component, your ability to handle stress. Stress may come from work, it may come from the home, it may come from whilst you were driving on the road, somebody overtook you, stressed you out. How do you keep your composure? How do you deal with that setback? This is all part, and if you've got it psyched in, then at work also you'll demonstrate that. Because you are now a leader, you are a CFO or a director, or wherever you are, your reaction will have an impact. And then, on this aspect, I would say work-life balance. It doesn't often sufficiently get talked about. I think it's exceedingly important. Everybody has a limit of how far he can go. We love people in our organizations who burn the midnight oil and produce outstanding results. Let them do it if they have the capacity to do it. But as you grow older, there has to be a work-life balance. Because at the end of the day, you have to be all the time enjoying your work, keeping a positive mindset, and it cannot happen unless you achieve this balance in life. I think one small point, but in my mind the most important point, I would say for people from your profession, is seeking new experiences. And what do I mean by seeking new experiences? Seek job rotations. You know, you are an accountant, a finance professional, but for a few years see